Good morning, students. Today I am going to start a new lesson, electromagnetic induction. Very easy and very interesting to learn. In the beginning of 19th century, the discovery was made by Ampere and Oersted establishes the relation between the two fields, electricity and magnetism. Oersted discovers that a current carrying conductor produces magnetic field around itself. Now, scientists started thinking that magnetism is produced by electricity. Is it possible to have electricity with the help of magnetism? The answer is yes, and it was discovered by Michael Faraday and Henry Joseph in the year 1830. And the phenomena is known as electromagnetic induction. Here you can see in the diagram that a magnet is moved towards a coil to which a galvanometer is connected. Now, because of this motion of the magnet towards the coil, the needle of the galvanometer shows deflection, that is, current is induced in the coil. When the magnet is moved away from the coil, it is observed that the direction of the needle of the galvanometer also gets reversed. Another fact which has been noticed is that the faster we move the magnet towards or away from the coil, the larger is the deflection produced in the needle of the galvanometer. Now, in the second diagram, you can see that a battery is connected to a coil C2, which establishes its magnetic field, and when this coil C2 is moved to and fro across the coil C1, we observe deflection in the needle of the galvanometer in the reverse direction. When the coil is moved towards, the direction of the needle will be just opposite when the coil C2 is moved away from C1. Here again you can see that a tapping key is connected with a coil C2 and a battery, and another coil C1 is connected with the galvanometer. Now, when the key is closed, a momentary deflection is being observed in the needle of the galvanometer. When it is released, again the needle of the galvanometer shows deflection, but the direction of deflection is just opposite to that of previous one. So, in all the three activities which we have discussed, we observe that the strength of magnetic field that is linked with the closed coil is being changed. When we move the magnet towards or away from the coil, the magnetic field associated with the coil changes. In this case, when we close the tapping key, the current begins to grow. So what will happen? As the strength of current increases, the strength of magnetic field produced by the coil will also increase, and hence the magnetic field linked with coil C1 will also increase. Similarly, when we leave the tapping key, the current begins to decline, gradually decreases to 0. So again momentary deflection is observed in the needle of the galvanometer, and it is due to decreasing magnetic field produced by the coil C2, which is linked with C1. So everywhere the changing magnetic field linked with the coil is the basic cause of current that is produced in the coil. Now come to magnetic flux. Let us define another term, magnetic flux. Here you can see that a surface, closed surface S is placed in a magnetic field B, and ds is the elementary surface area of the closed surface S. We know that direction of area vector is along outward normal. So here the angle between B and ds across this elementary surface area ds is theta. Now magnetic field is defined, magnetic flux is defined as the total number of magnetic lines of force which crosses a surface in a direction normal to it gives the magnetic flux linked with the coil, and mathematically it is defined as the product of component of magnetic field normal to the surface and area of the surface. So magnetic flux linked with this elementary surface ds is given as b cos theta, which is the normal component of magnetic field over the surface, and ds is the area of the surface. So d phi magnetic flux linked with the elementary surface area ds is given at b dot ds. So in order to find out the magnetic flux linked with the surface, it is to be evaluated over the entire surface. So magnetic flux or linked with a surface is equal to surface integral of magnetic field. Now what is electromagnetic induction? The discovery which was made by Michael Faraday and Joseph Henry. And the observations of their experiment, they led in the form of the laws of electromagnetic induction. Whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with a coil, an EMF is induced in the coil. Hence, a current flows in the coil known as induced current, and the EMF is known as induced EMF. Meaning, changing magnetic flux across the coil produces an induced current in the coil or sets up an induced EMF in the coil, and it lasts as long as this change in magnetic flux continues. The moment the change in magnetic flux is 0, that is come to rest, induced current vanishes. The same thing is stated in the first law of electromagnetic induction. That is, whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with a coil, an EMF is produced in the coil which lasts as long as the change in magnetic flux is taking place, and this phenomena is known as electromagnetic induction. Second law says the magnitude, how much EMF is induced in the coil. First law says that changing magnetic field produces an induced EMF in the coil. How much induced EMF will be produced? That is answered in the second law. Says the magnitude of induced EMF is numerically equal to rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. The greater is the rate of change of magnetic flux linked in the coil, the stronger will be the EMF produced, and vice versa. Now, what is the direction of induced current? This is answered by Lenz's law, which may be treated as the third law of electromagnetic induction, which says that the direction of induced current is such that it opposes the cause which produces it. So E is equal to minus d phi by dt. Here the opposing nature of induced current is being reflected by the negative sign. If the coil has n turns, the EMF induced will be E is equal to minus n d phi by dt. Now, from Lenz's law, it is clear that if current is induced in the coil, due to increasing magnetic flux, the induced current will be such that it decreases the magnetic flux linked with the coil. Similarly, if induced current is set up due to decreasing magnetic flux, the direction of induced current is such that the magnetic flux linked with the coil should increase. Now, a very important question in 2 marks very often asked in the examination is that Lenz's law is a consequence of conservation of energy. Explain. So, figure shows you a coil and a magnet with north pole facing the coil, and the coil is being moved towards the magnet is being moved towards the coil. Now, the face of the coil facing the magnet must behave like a north pole to oppose its motion, and that is possible only when current flows in anti-clockwise direction. Now, induced current is set up in anti-clockwise direction so that the face of the coil facing the magnet should behave like north pole and opposes the motion of the magnet. Now, if one has to move this magnet against this force of repulsion, work has to be done, and this work which is done in order to move the magnet towards the coil against the force of repulsion appears as electrical energy across the coil. Similarly, when north pole of the magnet is moved away from the coil, the face of the coil facing the magnet develops a south polarity. That is, induced current is set up in clockwise direction so that the face should behave like south pole and attracts the north pole of the magnet moving away from the magnet. Now, in order to move the magnet away from the coil against this force of attraction, work has to be done, and this work which is done appears as electrical energy across the coil. That is why it is being said that Lenz's law is a consequence of conservation of energy. Now, next topic is motional EMF. Now, you can see in the diagram that a conductor PQ can move on the two rails, U-shaped rails, which is placed in the magnetic field. Here we have considered that this conductor PQ is moving towards the arm RS with a velocity V. Now when this arm PQ will move towards RS, then area of the closed circuit inside the magnetic field decreases, and this will decrease the magnetic flux linked with the coil, as a result of which an induced current is set up in the coil, whose direction is given by Lenz's or by Fleming's right hand rule. Now, what will be the expression of motional EMF? For that, let at any instant the arm PQ is at a distance x from the arm RS. Now it is moving towards RS with the velocity V. Now L is the length of the conductor PQ, so area of the coil will be L into X, and magnetic flux linked with the coil is equal to B into A, so it will be BLX. Now from Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, we know that E is equal to minus d phi by dt, so put the value of phi, we will get minus BL dx by dt, and minus dx by dt is minus B as x is decreasing. So finally we get the expression for EMF as BLV. This is the magnitude of EMF that is being induced in the conductor PQ when it is moving with the velocity V in the magnetic field. As this EMF is due to motion of the conductor in the magnetic field, that is why it is also known as motional EMF. Now there is an alternative way to derive the expression for motional EMF, and that is by using Lorentz force. We all know that a conductor has large number of free electrons, and when it moves through a magnetic field, then these free electrons experiences a Lorentz magnetic force, which is equal to EVB, and it is in the direction from Q to P, which we can determine by using Fleming's right hand rule. So because of this magnetic force, the free electrons inside the conductor will move towards the end P, as a result of which these free electrons gets accumulated at the end P, so it becomes negatively charged, as a result of which the end Q becomes positively charged, as a result of which an electric field is established inside the conductor, due to which an electric force will also act on the free electrons. So when this this electric force acting on the free electron becomes equal to magnetic force, the movement of free electrons inside the conductor from end Q to P will stop, and a constant potential difference is set up across the end of the conductor. So magnetic force is equal to electric force, then what will happen? EVB is equal to E into A, so electric field is equal to V velocity into magnetic field. Now if the potential difference across the ends of the conductor is represented by a small e, then we know that V is equal to ED, so through that relation we can write EMF E is equal to electric field E into L, length of the conductor. From 1 and 2 we get EMF E is equal to BLV. So the expression for motional EMF is E is equal to BLV, as it is produced due to motion of the conductor, hence it is known as motional EMF. Now in this diagram you have to find out the direction of induced current using Lenge's law. See, in the first diagram, when the coil is the coil is being moved in the magnetic field. So as it is heading towards the magnetic field, so area of the coil inside the magnetic field will increase. This increases the magnetic flux linked with the coil. So increasing magnetic flux linked with the coil is the cause of induced current. So the direction of induced current is such that magnetic flux linked with the coil should decrease, and that is possible when the magnetic field that is set up due to induced current is opposite to that magnetic field applied. That is, the current across the coil must be in anti-clockwise direction. Then only magnetic field will be in upward direction, so magnetic flux linked with the coil will decrease. Now come to question number 2. Here in this second question, the coil is being moved away from the magnetic field, so area of the coil inside the magnetic field will decrease. Hence, magnetic flux linked with the coil will also decrease. Magnetic flux linked with the coil will also decrease. So, the direction of induced current is such that magnetic flux should increase, and that is possible when the magnetic field which is set up due to induced current is in the direction of applied field, and that is the direction of induced current must be clockwise. Now again come to third question. Here it is moved away from the magnetic field, so area of the coil inside the magnetic field will decrease. This decreases the magnetic field and hence the magnetic flux. So the direction of induced current is such that magnetic flux should increase, and that is possible when the induced current is in such a direction that it sets its magnetic field in the direction of the applied field. That is possible when induced current flows in clockwise direction. So in this way, using Lenge's law, we can find out the direction of induced current. That's all. Thank you for watching.